Rain tapped gently against the cafe window as Mark Turner checked his watch for the fourth time in 10 minutes. 6:55 p.m. The scent of coffee beans and cinnamon rolls swirled in the air, but all he could taste was the nervous dryness in his mouth. He hadn't been on a date in years. A Marine veteran and single dad of two, Mark was used to things like packing lunches, helping with math homework, and falling asleep in front of the TV with the news still on. Dating? That was another battlefield entirely. He smoothed the sleeve of his jacket, the one his daughter, Emma, had picked out, and stared again at the empty chair across from him. Maybe she's just late, he told himself. But as the minutes passed, hope drained slowly, like coffee gone cold. He looked around at other tables, young couples laughing, an old man reading his paper, a mom with her toddler, and wondered if he'd made a fool of himself. By 7:20, he was sure of it. He reached for his wallet to pay for his untouched latte when a small voice behind him piped up. "Excuse me, mister, are you Mark?" He turned. 4 kids stood there, 2 boys and 2 girls, maybe between the ages of 5 and 10. They looked nervous, each holding something, a purse, a coat, a crayon drawing, and a slightly squashed cupcake box. The oldest, a brown-haired girl with big eyes, spoke again. "Our mommy's sorry she's late." Mark blinked, confused. "Your mommy?" The girl nodded eagerly. "She said she's coming. But she got stuck at work, and we didn't want you to think she forgot." The cafe quieted around them. Even the barista looked over with a soft smile. Mark, unsure what to do, smiled back at the kids. "Well, I appreciate the update, soldiers." The smallest boy grinned. "You were in the army?" "Marines," Mark said proudly. "Cool," the boy whispered, eyes wide. The kids slid into the booth before Mark could protest, chattering away. They told him about their school, their dog named Pepper, and how their mom worked extra shifts at the hospital. The cupcake box was for him, they said, because mommy baked it for your date. Mark felt his heart twist. He'd expected awkward small talk, maybe disappointment. Instead, he found himself laughing real, deep laughter, for the first time in months. Then the cafe door swung open. A woman hurried in, rain in her hair, breathless and flushed. She wore scrubs beneath her jacket, a stethoscope peeking from her bag. Her eyes searched the room until they landed on the table full of her children and him. "Oh my God," she gasped, covering her mouth. "You must be Mark. I am so sorry." He stood, smiling. "You must be late," he joked softly. She laughed, relief flooding her face. "Guilty." Her name was Sarah. A nurse, widowed 3 years ago. Her best friend had set up the blind date, but she'd been called into an emergency just as she was leaving. Her kids, worried she'd miss it completely, had insisted on delivering the message themselves. What started as an awkward beginning turned into an evening neither of them wanted to end. They talked for hours about service, sacrifice, and raising kids alone. When Sarah finally glanced at her watch, it was past 10. "I should get these little night owls home," she said softly. The kids yawned in agreement. Mark offered to walk them to their car. Rain still fell, but this time, it felt warm. As they reached the parking lot, Sarah turned to him. "Thank you for waiting. Most people wouldn't have." He smiled. "Most people don't have 4 little angels come explain things for them." She laughed, shaking her head. "They must have liked you." "Well," Mark said, glancing at the kids climbing into the car, "I like them too." She hesitated, then said quietly, "Would you maybe like to do this again? When there's less chaos?" He met her eyes. "I'd like that very much." And before he could say more, the youngest boy leaned out of the backseat window and shouted, "Bye, Mr. Marine. Mommy smiles more when you're here." The car pulled away, leaving Mark standing in the drizzle, heart full, cheeks sore from smiling. A week later, the doorbell rang. On his porch stood a familiar set of kids, this time holding a thank you card and a small box of cupcakes. "She made these for you," said the oldest, grinning. "But we helped." Mark chuckled. "Then they're probably even better." As he waved goodbye, he looked down at the card. Inside, written in neat cursive, were 6 simple words. Thank you for not giving up. And for the first time in years, Mark felt something he hadn't felt since before the war, before the loneliness, before all the waiting. Hope. Real, stubborn, shining hope. Moral: sometimes, kindness doesn't arrive on time, but it always arrives when it's meant to. A week after that rainy evening, Mark couldn't stop thinking about Sarah and her kids. Every time he walked past that cafe, he remembered their laughter, the way the kids' eyes lit up when they talked about their mom, and the softness in Sarah's smile when she finally arrived, exhausted but glowing. For a man who'd learned to expect goodbyes more than hellos, that night had felt like a door quietly opening again. The following Saturday, his phone buzzed with a message. Sarah: hey, Maureen, you up for pancakes and chaos? We'd love to have you over for brunch. Mark chuckled to himself. He could almost hear her voice through the text. When he arrived at her house, the front yard was scattered with bikes, sidewalk chalk, and a half-finished fort made of old cardboard boxes. The kids came running the moment they saw him. Mr. Marine! You came! Mom made pancakes shaped like stars because you're a hero. He laughed, holding up his hands in surrender as they tugged him inside. The smell of butter, maple syrup, and coffee filled the small kitchen. Sarah stood by the stove in a loose sweatshirt and jeans, her hair in a messy bun. You came armed with your appetite, I hope, she teased. I was trained for worse, he said with a grin. Breakfast turned into a full-blown adventure. He helped the kids build a fort out of couch cushions, taught them how to fold paper planes, and even patched up a scraped knee with the calm precision of a medic. Sarah watched from the doorway, the veteran who'd once faced battlefields now sitting cross-legged on the floor, laughing with her children like he'd always belonged there. For the first time in a long time, her house didn't feel heavy. It felt like home. After the kids were tucked in for their afternoon nap, Mark and Sarah sat outside on the porch, sipping coffee. The sun dipped low behind the trees, turning everything golden. She glanced at him quietly. You know, I was nervous that night. About meeting someone new. I almost canceled. Mark looked down, fingers tracing the rim of his mug. I almost didn't show up. They both laughed softly. Then she added, I didn't think I'd ever meet someone who understood what it's like to lose someone, to raise kids alone, to just keep going even when you're tired of being strong. Mark nodded slowly. Yeah. You learn to live with silence. But then someone walks in, and suddenly, silence feels too quiet again. There was a long pause. The kind that doesn't need filling.